everyone and welcome back to a new YouTube video. Today we've got a little bit of a different video. I am so excited for you guys to watch this. I've just filmed another episode of my Unapologetically Me with Dani. Dani is a gorgeous content creator that creates a lot of like beauty and her types of videos, and she has alopecia. I sat down today and done a little bit of glam together whilst we talked about her struggles with alopecia. I'm so excited to have Dani on as a guest of this little series that we're doing. This is something that I've been wanting to do for a very long time. This is episode 2. So the first episode that you guys will have seen was talking about myself and my own struggles with endometriosis. But this is a little series that I'm going to be doing on here. I've been planning this for way over a year, and finally I'm just doing it. I'm ripping the band-aid off and I'm just doing it. We're going to be having uncomfortable conversations so that we can get comfortable, just talking about topics and things that our friends go through on a day-to-day life that we can help to make people feel more included, and I'm just so excited for this, for you guys to be able to see it. Please let me know what you guys think, but let's jump straight in. Before we start talking about your alopecia, do you remember when we first met?
I think I do. I'm sure I've seen you before we like actually spoke.
Yeah.
But I remember first speaking at the P. Louise. Was it P. Louise event? Or was it before that?
What was that one?
I don't know. She just opened the Empire.
Right, okay.
That
right,
one.
yeah. So I actually met you before then.
Really?
Yeah, and I remember it because I was such a massive fan of you before I met you.
Yes.
Yeah, and I remember it was a Coco Cosmetics event. The one underground in the club. It was in
in the club?
Yeah, in the club, because that's where she used to do them, didn't she, in the clubs? And then it opened up to the club.
Oh, yes.
Do you remember the one downstairs?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was when we and Danny first met, and I remember being stood like behind you, and I was like, oh my god.
Stop it.
And then I came over and said, I'm glad that you don't remember the interaction, to be fair, because I remember coming away from it and thinking, I've just embarrassed myself.
You know what though? I literally came out of that event and I was like, you know when you just go into an event and you come out and you're like, you want to cry?
Yeah.
That was one of them events for me. So no wonder I can't remember a thing, because probably I don't want to.
Yeah.
So
I'm sorry that you had that.
Yeah.
You had that, but I remember that being the first time we met.
I see.
Yeah, I used to watch still do watch your content all the time, but I used to be like, I'm saying used to be, I still am, but like when I didn't know you, was definitely a massive fan of your content beforehand. So I love that you're on here doing this. Such fun. Anyway, now jumping into what we was actually here for. Tell me about like your just alopecia. By the way, for the viewers with this, obviously I have done research. There's a lot of things that I know from watching your content, but like I'm gonna talk about this in, say, the dumbest form from my perspective, so that anyone who's watching this who doesn't understand anything to do with alopecia or what Dani goes through, then we can bring it back to the start, if that makes sense. I'm aware that there's like different types of alopecia, so like let's talk about that.
Okay, so my alopecia started when I was about 1.5 years old, and it started, right now I've got alopecia universalis, which is the worst form that you can get. So over the years it's progressed to this. Right,
and that means that it's all over the body, head and everywhere.
Yeah, basically. But when I was 1.5, that's when like a patch started. So you're not essentially born with it. You can't get baby alopecia. So yeah, it was at first.
Wait, sorry, you just put them on so fast? I thought that you said that there was gonna, sorry. I thought that you said that there was gonna take you a while.
No. I just have to do them first, because like you can't put
anything up. Yeah, of course. Sorry, carry on.
They literally take like 30 seconds.
30 seconds, yeah.
So yeah, at first it was diagnosed with baby alopecia, which basically when babies are born, sometimes they can have like a lack of hair.
Right.
But I was 1.5 at this point, and
do you remember this?
No, I don't really remember much of like the early stages. I have like a few memories where I'm just like, I remember certain things like me and my mum crying about something, and like, you know what I mean, like just random random times that I can just remember, but I can't really like remember most of it.
Yeah,
it was mainly like my mum and dad.
Right, so as far as like you're aware, you don't know any different, really.
Exactly. Yeah. And when I was 1.5, it was areata, so it was like a little patch on the top of my head, and then it developed to totalis, which is scalp loss, but I still had eyelashes, brows, body hair.
So just on your head?
Yes. And then it went to universalis, which is what it is now. So I lost my brows and lashes and everything else with it.
So what age was you when it went to that?
I was 14, 15.
Okay, so do you remember that happening?
Yeah.
That must have been quite traumatic, especially at that age as well, because
yeah,
you're going through a lot as a teenager then anyway, aren't you?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, you must have, like, that must have been so traumatic.
Yeah, I think that was the hardest bit. Like, obviously I've always kind of had no hair, so I was used to that. But I think everyone who has alopecia, they always say, like, losing their brows and lashes is the hardest part.
Right.
And I think it's mainly just because that's what, like, shapes your face.
Right, yeah.
And I feel like that's what made us look ill.
Yeah. Oh, right, okay. And is it, and apologies if this is the wrong thing to say, but does it make it easier if you are someone that hadn't accepted it yet and you wanted to cover it up? It's easier to cover it up with a wig than it is everything else?
Yeah. I think, like, it's hard. I think it's just because, like, for me, I think the hardest bit is I can't just have a natural day, if that makes sense. Like, for you can just, like, put some mascara on, but for me, I always have to put lashes on.
Yeah,
right,
so it's
like,
so it's
full
an extra
glam
step.
or nothing.
Yeah.
I never feel like I can, like, naturally.
Yeah, because I guess your lashes are
Yeah.
such a prominent thing on your face, aren't they?
Exactly, yeah.
And you can't just, I mean, you could, but, like, just to put lashes on.
Yeah, it looks odd. I can't cope with that. No.
Yeah. If you were saying, like, a word to, like, explain what alopecia is, can you say condition, or what would you say? Because, like, when I was like researching about it, there was a lot of websites that said, like, disease, and, like, I just felt like that was such a wrong thing to say. Would you agree that that's the wrong thing to say?
I mean, it is an autoimmune disease condition. I normally say condition.
Yeah.
But disease just does sound a bit drastic.
Yeah, and like you're gonna catch it.
Yeah.
Like it's something scary that you're gonna catch. I was like, I was reading it up and I was thinking, surely we don't say disease. Like, that feels like the wrong thing to say.
Yeah,
I was quite shocked that, like, a lot of websites that were, you know, obviously educating were using that word. Yeah. It just, I don't know, for me it just felt like wrong. So I'm glad we've cleared that one up. Yeah. Do any of your family have alopecia? Do you have any history of alopecia? Because it can be genetic, right?
So interestingly, yes.
Right.
I don't actually talk about this a lot. And I think it's just because there is that conception that is genetic and that's how it's caused. But I wouldn't necessarily say that is the sole reason. With me, it could be. So for me, my uncle does have it. So it could be genetic. But there's so many other things. Like, everyone's experience is completely different. And some people could get it from, like, trauma, no reason at all. So
like
that's why I never really like to say someone in my family has it, because I don't know, like, that could just be a me thing, and I don't want that association to just be like, it's genetic, there you go.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Of course. But, and do you think there was some sort of, like, do you know the reason as to, like, why yours started or not? Like, did you have something that kicked it off, or anything that you can relate it to?
Well, no, not really. Like, probably the main factor in mine is probably genetics, even though I don't really, like...
We're not saying that. Yeah.
But, yeah, there wasn't really anything. Like, there was no trauma. I was just a little gal, just living a life.
Live, laugh, love him.
Yeah. So I don't really know why it did happen. Like I say, it could be genetics, but the reason why I say it's not solely genetics is because there is, for example, you get identical twins. That means they've got the exact same
DNA.
Yeah. One could get it and one might not.
Right.
So that proves
it means it has to be environmental.
There's something else that can factor into it. Right. Don't get us wrong, some people can just be genetic. There could be, like, a direct cause, but not everyone's is. So
yeah, and also an uncle, I guess, in yours, it's not necessarily like it's your dad.
Yeah, exactly.
It's crossed, isn't it?
Exactly,
so it could just be... And is there anyone else in your family history other than you and your uncle?
No. Just us two, yeah.
So is your uncle got the same type of alopecia as you?
Yes, universalis.
Right, okay. So did you find that easier that you had someone?
I suppose so. I mean, growing up, he's the only one I knew who did have it, but he didn't really talk about it like I do.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, I do think it's probably helped just having that little bit of exposure.
Yeah.
Not that we ever talked about it, or like the family really talked about us both having it. He's not as sort of outgoing as I am with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I suppose it just opened my eyes that I wasn't the only one, because that was the hardest thing, is thinking I was the only one, like different to all my friends.
Yeah.
The only one at school who had it, and it was only when I started like social media that I actually found that I'm not the only one.
Yeah, there's so many people. Yeah. So I had seen the and I feel like I've heard this quite a lot, that there can be like treatments and stuff for alopecia. Because do you oh my gosh, I love this brush.
So good.
I love this brush. For anyone who actively watches my YouTube, I did a favourites video a few weeks ago, and I put this brush into the favourites where it's mine.
Isn't it? Fun fact, I actually bought this brush because of you.
Oh, Slayer PC21 from Peaches. We absolutely love. For anyone who doesn't, I can't find the brush, but I must find it soon. It's this one from Be Louise that I was talking about. So incredible for blush, isn't it?
Yeah.
Such a good brush.
F33.
This combination of that brush and this brush, stunning.
Yeah.
You
got a powder puff, by the way.
Yes, I have. No, it's fine. How did we in the past?
I know.
Like live without a powder puff? At least you've come to someone who has all of these things. Sorry, what was we saying then before I just divulged on the... Oh yeah, I was going to say, so I've seen quite a lot of things on the internet, like, I feel like it's always ads, where they say about, like, things that you can do. Like, obviously hair loss is a topic in general, in terms of, you know, every day. Like, I've had hair loss before, but not alopecia, but like losing my hair from breakage and things like that. So obviously there's a lot of products that are marketed around that side of it. But I feel like I do see sometimes like things that are like in regards to alopecia. So is there like, first of all, is the treatments is probably like my first question, and then like the products that you might see on the internet, are they real or not? Like how
treatments wise, there is a new drug that's just been approved for like as a treatment for hair loss and alopecia. I personally haven't looked at it, and I don't want to know. And I think it's just because there is, I've heard that there's a lot of side effects. I haven't googled it, so like these are not facts, these are all just me thinking out loud.
Okay.
But there is side effects where it can suppress your immune system, and essentially you're weighing up hair or being healthy. In my eyes, I just don't feel like that's just something you can't compromise. It's your health. Like, being healthy is way more important than having hair, in my eyes. Some people don't see it that way, and that's why people get treatment, and that's totally fine.
Yeah, I guess the hope with the treatment as well would be difficult. Like, you start doing this treatment with the hope that like it might go back, and then, because like you say, you have to be someone who wants it to be able to do that you get the hope of wanting this back again, and then it might not always work. Like, I think that would be quite difficult, wouldn't it?
And this drug as well, like if you get pregnant, for example, you have to come off it, so you've got to then deal with that hair loss again, so you've got to be on it for life. Right.
So it's not a bring it back, sort of, it's a bit of a plaster, sort of thing,
basically.
Right, okay.
So it's not for me. I mean, in the past, when I was really young, I have tried other treatments, and I tried everything basically, apart from steroid injections, which is basically injecting steroids into your scalp.
Right.
But I was so young that obviously pain and stuff, like, no way. So
I mean even now that sounds scary.
No.
And that would have to be in every single point where there would be a hair.
Awful. Like,
that's invasive, right?
There is a girl who also does socials who has alopecia, and she got steroid injections, and she got like lumps and dints all over her head.
Right. So it doesn't always work, and that must be expensive.
Yeah, well, depends. I think you can get it on the NHS, just depends how far you go.
Right, okay.
But that is just so not worth it. The results for it are just like probably 1 in like 100. Like, it's just stupid. Like,
right.
No.
Right, okay. So in terms of other treatments, what are other things that you've tried? Because when you say you've tried everything else apart from that, what is everything else?
So I had like a steroid cream for my head.
Right.
I can't remember fully, but we also tried spiritual treatments.
Right.
Which sounds actually crazy. But it was like, this is going to sound stupid, right?
It's fine. We're all open ears. No judgment.
No. But I had like this spiritual guy basically like hold his hands over my head like this.
Right.
And like pray.
To see if it would work?
Yeah.
It obviously didn't.
No.
And is the history of that working?
I don't know. It was just worth a shot, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like, what have I got to lose?
Yeah.
But yeah, not for me. I haven't really entertained any
Anything
more
else?
treatments.
And how, in terms of like the cream, could that give you topical steroid withdrawal?
I don't know.
With it being a steroid cream?
I don't know.
Don't know.
Possibly.
I know there's obviously so much conversation about topical steroid withdrawal.
Yeah.
Because it's something that we never historically really knew about until, like, I mean, personally myself anyway, I didn't really know about it up until recently, like with socials and stuff and people talking about it. And I find it mad that like people, sorry, I'm totally going off topic, but I find it mad that like doctors obviously diagnose this and it's crazy. Okay, so that's interesting. Do you think that I mean, I feel like I know the answer to this, but do you feel like you would ever look at getting treatment, or are you just happy with?
If it's ever gonna like compromise my health or give us any disadvantage to how I am now, then no. Like, I don't think I'll ever. And even if like it was like here's a cure, I don't know. Like, I don't think I would. I feel like I'd have to assess it then. But I just feel like kind of what I stand for now, it would just wouldn't make sense. And not that I wouldn't get treatment because of that.
Yeah.
It would just be like, I've come so far to get to this point, so why would I go back on it? Like,
yeah, I guess you've worked so much in your life to like sort of accept this, and it's obviously been a very long time that you've accepted this, that maybe if you was to go back it would be like,
yeah,
whoa, this might be a bit weird.
Who
now.
is she?
Yeah. Like maybe the life things that you now have to do daily to make, they would all have to change, wouldn't they?
Yeah. And I just think like the amount of opportunities and my platform and everything is built on who I am now.
Yeah.
So it just, and I don't know. I don't even know if Jack would like us with hair. You know what I mean? Again, not that would base my decision, but just used to how I am now, and I'm fine.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love that you're so like open and accepting and like just such an advocate for alopecia, and obviously for what you've gone through with that. Even though like you are so accepting and stuff, do you ever have bad days with it? Like, no.
Yeah, definitely. And I think I've had like bad times, and like the hardest time so far would probably have been like uni and stuff. And I think in like coming into the beauty world and the beauty community, like I would probably say it is quite hard. And I think it's just because it's a whole new group of people, and it's like, how do you introduce yourself? And I know I've told you this before, like sometimes I go to events and people don't recognise who I am just because I've got a different hair colour on.
Yeah.
So I find that quite difficult, and that it's not more that I'm like offended that someone doesn't recognise us, because that's not the case. It's just that I feel embarrassed, because when they realise, they're going to be like, oh shit. Yeah. And I'm like,
and then you feel like, you feel uncomfortable because you know that they've just fucked up, I guess, a little bit.
Yeah, and I don't want someone to feel like that, because it's not that deep, but like, I can't help but just be like, oh, it's me.
It's me under here.
Surprise. Like, and it's just that whole like awkwardness that I don't like. Yeah. And like, same happened in uni. Like, I feel like I nearly dropped out after year one just with uni. Like, I hated it that much. But your girl's got a load of great now. So
worth it.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's just difficult, I think, going into like new situations. And I've got like this thing in my head. This is totally a me thing, but I just feel like no one wants to be my friend. And I think that's just me, like being like, and limiting myself.
Do you think that you feel like that people wouldn't want to be your friend because of your alopecia?
I don't know. I feel like people look
Or
at
is
us
that
and
just a
feel
general
sorry
thing?
for us.
Right.
And I think that is linked because I've got alopecia. Like,
Right.
I think people just look at it, not that I think I give off that impression, and not that anyone's ever made us feel that way, especially in the beauty community. Like, everyone's lovely. But I just place that limit on myself, and I feel like I'm not a very outgoing person. I can be quite shy. But then if I've got this thinking, I'll go into an event or something, and I'll just totally limit myself, and I'll just sit there and not speak.
Right. Yeah.
And I again, I think that's probably one of my biggest limits now, just because of my alopecia. Like, it's just integrated into us for some reason.
Yeah. No, and I get that because I guess, like you say, you don't want people to see that as you.
Yeah.
Because there's more to you than that.
Yeah.
And I guess that can be quite difficult, especially in an environment where you're constantly having to introduce yourself, and you're constantly going to events or meals and all these things where you might know some of them people in the room, but you also might not know them people in the room.
Yeah.
And you then every time it's like back up to doing that. So I understand like why that can be difficult.
Yeah.
And then I guess why that then was difficult when you went to uni, because I guarantee you see people every day. Like when you went to uni that you are new people. Do you have any side effects to having alopecia other than obviously you're not having your hair? Because from what I know, obviously we have hair on our bodies so that it protects our eyes and things like that. I'm not really massively knowledgeable about what the hair is for. I'm not a scientist, but I know that obviously there is little bits that it does, and a lot of times when we talk about our hair, we talk about our nails in conjunction with that. Is there anything that you like have to do to, I don't want to use the word compensate, but
yeah I know what you mean. So your nails are linked to it. So honestly, I'm so bad at trying to do some education here, but I think it's because I haven't been to the hospital in years now for it. Like, I just give up because there was nothing else they could do or say. But when I used to go to the hospital for the checks, they always checked my nails. And I think it is linked somehow. I do have quite like weak, brittle nails. Obviously, these are not my nails, but
you get acrylics on anyway.
Yeah,
it's still safe for you to do that.
I think so. I mean,
She does it anyway.
Nothing's stopping us getting long nails. But like my natural nails are really weak.
Right.
And that is something. Also, like nose hair and stuff, I can get ill because obviously nose hair stops stuff.
Definitely going up.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel the cold a lot more. Apparently, this is a fun fact for you. People with alopecia feel the cold 2 degrees less than people with hair.
Right. Yeah. Because the hair.
Yeah. Just keeps you warm.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Who knew? So yeah, I'm always cold, but I think that's just a personal thing. Some people are cold people, some people are hot.
Yeah. I said before, like I'm definitely a cold person.
Yeah.
As well.
So yeah, that's it. I don't think there's any other.
There's nothing else.
No.
Okay, interesting. Kind of like touch on this before. But do you have any? I'll start off with any bad memories of things that have happened, if you don't mind talking about them, in regards to your alopecia. Because I think that sometimes people need to hear sometimes the bad things to be able to realise what you've gone through.
Yeah.
Like, do you have anything that's like significant that made you think, like, made you really upset in regards to your alopecia?
Probably
if you don't mind sharing.
Yeah, of course. Probably the most recent is when I was on holiday. I always find on holiday the hardest because, again, new people, a new country, different cultures like to stare more than others.
Yeah. Even
like
I find that there's certain countries that are just like, they're
so
like,
rude.
Oh my god. Yeah,
like if that was in the UK, you'd get jumped. Like, what But yeah, probably recently I was in Spain, and I think it was just a build up of a few different things that had been happening. I was getting stared at all the time, whether I'm without all of my glam or whether I'm with all my glam, that I'm just like, I can't catch a break. And then I was in the sea and I had a kid standing, pointing, laughing at us with the parent right there, and like Jack had to say like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, tell your child, like the Spanish obviously, so communication was not great.
Yeah.
Just that, like, basic things of like, at least teach your kid, like, I know it's gonna happen because kids are kids,
And they don't necessarily understand if it's not something they've been around.
Yeah, exactly. But like,
but still,
teach them. Like, this is your opportunity to teach them.
Yeah.
But they just didn't say anything. Jack had to literally be like,
what the fuck?
Like, what are you doing? Like, tell your child.
Yeah. No, that's so awful.
So yeah, that was just like my breaking point, I think, and I just had a little cry in the scene. I know, I just couldn't, like, so that would probably be the hardest, and I feel like it affects every holiday I go on now, because I feel like I'm looking for it, because I'm like, why should you get away with it?
You're looking for people to look at you, so you can...
Yeah, basically.
That's what you're looking at.
Yeah, exactly. Because I don't, like... I'm not a confrontational person at all.
Yeah,
but
no,
I just think if you're being rude, like...
Yeah, and I guess that's a part of, like, educating people as well, because, like, if you don't grow up and you don't have anyone around you that has alopecia, then you are going to look and think, oh, I'm interested.
Yeah.
And that then obviously gives the stir as much, but you don't stop looking at me.
Like. Exactly. And I'm always, like, fine with people looking, but like if you're staring, like that's a bit different. I think we're curious at the end of the day, like, but don't make it that obvious that I can see you talking about it.
Don't then
literally.
Sorry,
that
I just like, did you move them?
But
don't like no
exactly.
But I just feel like that's just, I mean, I feel like that's just common sense that you don't do that with anyone, like no matter what it is.
So yeah, it's just like building up each holiday. But last holiday I went on, I was just like, right, I want to be on a level where I'm just so in my own zone, in my own little bubble that I don't notice anything that's going on around us.
You're not looking for that.
Yeah, whether you're looking at us or not, like, I want to be unfazed by it. If you're laughing or not, I'm unfazed.
Yeah.
And that's the level I want to be on. So my last holiday, that was the aim, and I feel like I did better.
Okay. Oh, gorgeous. Do you feel like you before you was to go on a holiday, well, I don't know, because I don't know what you would research, would you? But would you pick a holiday on the basis of knowing if it would be bad or not?
No, never.
Because you're not going to know, are you? It's not like something you can Google, is it?
Nah. How many people stare in this country?
Because I know, like, if sometimes, I mean, I've heard, this is not coming from experience, but I've heard, like, and totally different, but like some gay couples might Google like the country and stuff just to see obviously how receptive. There's nothing in this situation that you would be able to Google, would you? Because like, I mean, if you've got any common sense, you can go anywhere, can't you?
Yeah.
Realistically, it just depends on, I guess, the person.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I never let it stop us. Like, that would never let us stop us
going
somewhere or doing something. But it's always just like a battle sometimes. I would say. But again, I'm just trying to get on that level where it's fine.
Yeah. Does that then give you a lot of anxiety going on holiday?
It can do. I just think, like, it would, like I say, it never stops us, but sometimes it'll just, like, just give us a bit of a moment going out or something, because that's the thing that I just don't understand. Even when I'm, like, full glam, wig, everything, people still stare, and I'm like,
yeah, but I think that might not necessarily, I mean, I don't know, because I'm not them kind of, I'm not that person, but like, I feel like when I've seen you full glam, I wouldn't have thought that you had alopecia.
Yeah.
I would have just thought, whoa, she's unreal.
Thank you.
I just feel like, whoa, like that glam, like your glam is incredible. Like, I actually think that, I was thinking this before. I've never seen Dani not look like 11 out of 10. Like, every time you're at an event, like, I just feel like you always, like, your makeup is always so incredible. Whereas, like, girls, I mean, we all know that I can do a 20-minute glam, but sometimes it's just not hitting the spot. Like, do you ever feel like that? Do you ever feel like, oh God, I'm not having a good makeup day?
Yeah.
Because I feel like I don't think I've ever looked at you and thought, she's not having a good makeup day. Not that I ever do that looking at anyone else in general, but do you know what I mean? Like, I always, sometimes I'm like, in fact, 90% of the time I would say, like, this makeup does not look good today. Yeah. But, like, I feel like your makeup always looks, like, incredible. So I would potentially be like, God, she looks so pretty. That's where it would come from with me. Obviously, I know that everyone's intentions are obviously a little bit different, but anyway, tangent. Tangent, just telling Dani how beautiful she is.
You can carry on if you want.
you feel like either way, like I can't win.
Yeah, and sometimes I just want to I want a break. Like, just leave us alone.
Yeah, just like blend in for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
no, I get
can't
that.
do that.
Yeah. So in positive, what about like a positive experience that you've had? Like what, I know obviously you do a lot of advocating for people with alopecia and for your condition. What do you obviously find? Do you have people coming up to you and like asking that, you know, like other people that have alopecia? Like tell me some positives that you've had.
Well, I definitely think coming into this space and having this platform, it does open us up to a lot more people, and like if I go out, some people might recognise us, and I just think them in-person interactions where people are like, oh, you've helped us so much.
Yeah.
And like
other people that have alopecia.
And like so many people have it and they're like, oh, I have alopecia, or my mum has alopecia.
Yeah.
And you've just helped so much, and like just that is the best thing.
Yeah, it's the whole
like,
reason why you do it. And I guess I don't want to put words in your mouth, but does it make you feel a little bit more like you have a purpose with your alopecia?
100%. And that's why that's one of the reasons why I do it so much. And like one of my main inspirations is like other people. Like there's some people with alopecia who won't even go out the house without the wig. They won't go and put their bin out without the wig on.
Yeah.
The partner of 5 years has not seen them without a wig.
Yeah.
And like in my head, like I could never imagine being at that point with it.
Yeah.
But obviously everyone starts somewhere.
Yeah,
so
of course.
it's just like getting people to the point of being like, you're fine. Like,
yeah.
It is going to be fine.
Yeah.
And I think having those in person, like when you're behind a screen and talking to a camera, it's like you don't feel the effect you have. But when someone,
of course, yeah,
in person is telling you, it's like you feel it then.
Yeah. And it makes it worth it.
Yeah.
Exactly. I understand what you're saying there. Do you have anything that's like not this industry related where you've had like something really good happen? I don't even know what I'm even referring to there, but...
So I would probably say some people, if their kid like blurts out, oh, that girl's got no hair, and they're like, what do I do?
Yeah.
Like it's just that awkward. But there was this one occasion, I was actually really young, I was just walking back from school and a kid did that, and like the parent just she just had the best response that I think is just good advice for anyone. If your kid's ever outspoken, which kids are, like,
it's
fine.
good. Like unfortunately that's something that is going to happen if you're not brought up around that.
Exactly. But she just responded and said, yeah, no, isn't she beautiful?
Oh.
And I was just like, oh, like you just made that interaction from awkward to just like something so positive.
Yeah. And also then for the kid as well to then understand that like
and it's teaching them, and they're just like, oh yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
So
because I guess if I mean not a mother, so I don't really know, but I guess if like you was if the mother was to be like, oh, what do I do, then it makes that interaction, I mean obviously uncomfortable for you, but then to teach that kid that that's a conversation that maybe you should just not say anything, which is not always like, not saying something is not always what the aim is. Like,
no,
you need to have the conversations. I always say, and this is why my series on here is called Unapologetically Me, and I always say you have to get uncomfortable to get comfortable again, and having like unapologetic conversations that are uncomfortable are one of the reasons why we're doing this, but also I've had so many conversations that make me feel so uncomfortable, but the reason why I have them is because it takes me away from that situation, being better of us understanding of someone else's situation, and also being able to then make sure that then people feel safe in like my circle and stuff. And I feel like it definitely starts with children, doesn't it? In that respect. So that's like really good advice for anyone that ends up in that situation.
Yeah,
that's a good way to deal with it. Because I guess even as a mother, that could be quite like fuck, because you don't want to upset you. And you obviously want to make sure you do the right thing. But great example there from Dani on how you can how you can do that. Obviously, I know that you don't really remember much different, but at what age do you feel like you became comfortable with your alopecia?
It's hard, because I would probably say a key age when I was starting to figure out who I am and what I wanted to be was when I started to lose my lashes and my brows.
Right.
So it was hard to like that was a hard phase. But to be totally honest, I feel like when I came into this and like the beauty world and the beauty industry and started sharing online, that's when I was like, you know what, I'm fine, like I'm actually
Yeah.
alright, like
Mm-hmm.
people are intrigued by it, and I got a total different perspective that it's more, people aren't like laughing at us, sorry, people aren't like laughing at us or anything like that, they're just
Curious.
they're curious.
Yeah.
So it just opened my eyes to different people's perspectives.
Yeah, of course.
It just validated me that I was like, yeah, I'm fine, I am likeable, people do want to be my friend.
Yeah, no, of course, yeah. Because I guess in the past maybe it felt quite isolating.
Oh yeah.
Whereas like now, especially when you've got such a amazing community, such a big amazing community around that, and then you've also got other people that you can relate to that also, you know, do the same thing as you, and I guess that makes it worth it. And then swiftly going straight into, you also have your brand, which, am I pronouncing this right? Demuse.
Yeah.
Right, because I've said this to you a few times and then I've walked away and I thought,
Is that right?
is that right? I don't want to say it wrong.
That's fine. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how else you would say it, but you know when you just...
I know, I think people are either like demuse or demuse.
Demuse. Oh,
But
right, okay.
that's fine.
Right, okay,
Yeah.
she's happy with anything.
Whatever.
So tell us a bit... Let me go and get some mascara and then tell us about this. Sorry, so go on. I'm going to steal a little mini M&M if anyone's not had these said Dani before. So good, so nostalgic. Tell us about Demuse, how it came about, why you started it. Do you want them?
It's alright, I've got my teeth in, can't be arsed.
Oh yeah, sorry. Oh yeah, sorry. I was eating snacks before and forgot about that. Yeah, tell us why you started it. When you started it, you must be nearly a year now.
Yeah, it's about a year and a half I've been doing it.
Okay.
But yeah, I started it just because I love wigs, and I feel like with wigs, there's so many things. Like they came such a long way from when I started wearing wigs, and that created the love for wigs, and it made us see like the potential in them. And I really want with Demuse that it to be a brand where people with hair loss can go to and they can get everything they need. Because I think it's such an overwhelming journey, or something that happened to you, it's so overwhelming that you don't know where to start sometimes. Like, there's a lot of wigs out there, but not a lot you can trust.
And are they good? And
exactly.
And like, I mean, I have no idea about anything to do with a wig or anything, so I guess having someone like you behind that, instantly I'd be like, I'm just gonna go there because that seems like I can trust him. Yeah.
And I think, like, I know what I like with wigs, and I feel like I know what was missing. Like, there's so much, like, for example, there's some amazing wigs out there, other brands that I will rate, but it's just not perfect. And I feel like that's what Demuse does, is like, I've perfected the things that were missing in terms of like sizing. You can get a fully customized size that'll fit your head, which makes a massive difference. Like, it's not going to feel like your own until
right, because everyone's head is different.
Until it like actually fits you, it's not going to feel right.
Yeah.
So that was like the main reason why I started. Obviously to make a difference to people's lives. And now I've just branched into other products, other things. Again, just because I want people to be able to get everything in one place.
Yeah, the full experience. Yeah.
So yeah, it's like my little dream brand. Keeps us very busy. But...
your little passion project.
Absolutely love it.
So you do, am I right in saying you do a lot of it yourself?
Yeah, pretty much all of it. I do.
And that includes, I saw a video the other day of you dyeing a wig.
Yeah, so
that looks so much fun.
It can be. It's very time consuming when you don't have a lot of time.
Yeah,
it's very time consuming. But we do have a colourist. She's so talented and she does some amazing things with the wigs. She does the cutting as well. I'll do all the styling, the packing, and then the socials, the emails, communication, like everything else. Yeah,
because there must be a lot of... I guess it's a really thought about purchase when you're buying a wig.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, it's not
an investment.
It's and you know, people might only have one, so they do want it to be perfect. So I guess there is like a lot of communication that people want to just kind of just check this, can I just check this? Yeah. And that makes it part of the experience of buying it then as well, which you're going to want to be perfect because you understand that people are already struggling with something. Interesting. Where do you do you see the brands, like, where do you see like the brands going, just carry on doing what you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, I'll always want to bring out more products, more things just to like, so like I say, I want to be that one brand that does everything for people with hair loss. So again, definitely bringing out different products for them. Yeah, and just going bigger and better. I mean, wigs are always adapting. I feel like whenever there's something new to the market, I'm always very on it in terms of like, I want the best. Like, I want the best wigs. Like,
of course, yeah.
Because why shouldn't we have the best wigs?
Yeah.
So yeah, always just getting bigger and better. Always.
Love that. I love seeing like when you post like other people that are like wearing them and stuff. Like, I find it so empowering to watch what you've done with that, because I know how much like that can have such a big effect on like someone's life. Do you have a favourite wig? Because I obviously, for anyone who doesn't follow Dani, which I'm sure you all do, Dani, literally every time you're on my Instagram page or on my TikTok, like, you've got a different wig on. And like the other day I said to you, you had like this updo on and it was like a white. I was like, I love it. Like, there's nothing, I every single wig that you put on, I just think, there's nothing this girl can't do. I'm like, oh real. Like, if I dyed my hair ginger or something, it wouldn't look cute. But like, you just look amazing in every single colour that you put on. Do you have one that is like your favourite? I
don't think so. I feel like I go through phases of like loving certain colours or certain styles. I don't have like a definite favourite that I can put my finger on. I mean, I love a ginger. I'm loving peach at the minute.
Yeah, I love you in the peach one. I love you in the peach one.
But I know so many people, because obviously I'm getting married next year.
Yes.
And so many people are loving my wedding wig series.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of helping us get a bit more creative and be like,
yeah.
What do I suit?
What can I do next?
Yeah.
No, I find it so interesting. How long does it take you typically to put a wig on?
How long does it what?
How long does it take you to put a wig on?
I feel like I'm a pro now. Like, I can do it in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, right. I thought that it was going to be like a long time.
Oh, no. Like...
Oh, okay. I mean, obviously you do it quite often, don't you? So
depends what like cap and stuff you've got. Like, if you've got something that needs glued the whole circumference, then that's going to take you longer than
that's like when you was doing an updo.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, that would take us the longest.
That it needs... And is that why... my knowledge is not the best, but is that why... then you would need a lace that goes all the way around to be able to then put it up?
Yes.
Because if one wasn't all the way around, you could only do it down.
Yeah.
Would that mean it would flap at the back?
It could, yeah.
Right.
But if you ran it down, it's all right, yeah.
Right. Interesting. I find it so interesting. Like, I find this so interesting. So, end to end, if you was... I know we've just had this conversation, so I kind of know the answer, but end to end, including wig, outfit, glam... You go into an event, how long are you giving yourself?
Oh, if I can choose a time frame to have.
Yeah, I'm giving you any time frame, yeah.
Give us at least 3 hours.
3 hours? I don't know what I'd do in 3 hours. I'm like, give me 10 minutes.
I think it's just because, like,
that's why Dani looks
stress-free.
Yeah, and that's why you look stunning every time. And that's why I don't. Because I'm like, give me whatever, you've got me. What would be a rush for you?
Oh.
End to end.
For 30 minutes.
But you could do it in 30 minutes.
I could, yeah. But that's just like...
slim.
Like, panic.
No, that's impressive.
Thank
impressive.
you.
I didn't think you was going to say 30 minutes. I thought you was going to say like an hour and a half.
Honestly, I didn't think I could do it in 30 minutes until I did it in 30 minutes.
No, we just said before, I said to Dani, how long is it going to take you to do your makeup? She said an hour and a half. So I was like, right, I'll go really slow. I've gone really slow now. Dani's finished before me.
And I'm like...
I know you've spoken before. We're just going to have the rest of the conversation once we're done. I know you've spoken before on your page about having your brows microbladed, and I do know the answer to this, but like, what's your thoughts on that?
I think it's a good option for someone who wants to have brows when they wake up to when they want to go to sleep. But for me, I personally would never get them done. One, because brow styles, trends change all the time. If I had something permanent on my face that I had to stick with, I know they can fade and you can get them redone, but I wouldn't want that constant commitment to one brow style. I like to be able to change my face. Yeah,
and I guess with being a creative as well.
Exactly.
It gives you the ability to be like, right, what brow are we going to do today?
No brow,
even if you don't wake up with it.
Yeah.
Interesting. I love that these brows these are your brand, right? You do
they
these,
are,
don't you?
yes.
Yeah, I just feel like they look so good.
Thank
you. They look so real. Am I allowed to say that? Is that an okay thing to say? I feel like they just look so good, and I can't believe before when I was like, sorry, what you just doing? That was like the quickest thing ever.
They're done.
And it's just like The same as like a tattoo transfer.
Yeah, like water. Literally soak it with water
And it
then
just
it'll
comes
peel
off.
Yeah.
So incredible.
Yeah.
I love that. So would you use a new one of them a day?
Yeah.
So obviously must go through a lot.
They can go up to 3 days, but it depends on your skin type, what you're doing, like
Right.
if you're sweating in the gym and stuff, they're obviously going to peel a lot quicker than if not.
No.
Personally, I don't wear makeup every day, so I'll just take them off at the end of the day. So
Right, okay, and just put a new one on.
Yeah.
Stunning, I love that. How many, I just thought of a really random question. How many wigs do you have? Do you know how many wigs you have?
Well,
like, that are like your wigs.
Yeah, so before Demuse, I had probably about 50 wigs, like ridiculous, but I only wear Demuse now.
Right.
And that is...
Sack the other ones off.
Yeah,
That's all you need.
honestly, like, because just nothing compares now. Like, they fit the best, and that's not me just, like...
Yeah.
Tooting my own horn or anything at all.
To it.
They literally are the best. And
Yeah.
I can't, like, cope with something that doesn't fit or doesn't feel right on my head anymore, so they're bye. So now I've had to kind of rebuild my wig wardrobe.
Right, okay.
Rebuild, I say. I'm probably on about 10.
Oh, okay.
Which is alright.
Right, I thought you was going to say more than that, but then I
Yeah.
guess you've had a year and a half of rebuilding them, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
How do you store a wig? Where do you keep it?
I've got like a bar that is on my wall that's close to the wall, kind of like a hanger. And
Right.
I've got single hook hangers that I hang the
Right.
wig
Okay.
on.
Yeah, I know
So I've
what
got
you
a
mean.
wig wall.
I know what you mean. That's so exciting. You don't need the makeup wall.
No,
You've
I
got a
don't.
wig wall. That's
Exactly.
so exciting. I've seen people like have them on heads before, you know, like, and then put them on the heads. Obviously, they're displayed really nice, but I'm like, there's space. When
I
you said
know.
50, I thought, where are they going?
Where?
They just be shoved in a box. I'm going to go a little bit deeper with the questions. Do you have anything that like people could say that would be offensive, that people don't necessarily think is offensive? Like something that like, I don't want to give an example, but like something that could be said that might make you think, but not necessarily they mean it, but it's because we don't understand.
It's just hair. That's probably the most common.
Right.
Well, it's just hair.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's just hair, but that's not the point.
You get rid of all yours and see
Yeah,
if you like it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
And do people say that quite often?
yeah, I would probably say more often than you would think. I know a lot of people wouldn't say that. I wouldn't think of saying that.
Yeah.
But that's just one of the ones that I would say came to my head first.
And is that more of something that someone would say in a comment online?
Yeah.
As opposed to
probably.
saying in person?
Yeah. And I've actually had a doctor say that to us before.
What, like in an appointment?
Yeah.
Sorry?
No. Because he had no hair, basically. He was like a man who was balding. And
Who was not had alopecia?
no,
was balding.
just male pattern baldness,
Yeah.
basically. And I went in and it was actually about getting funding for a wig. I was younger, obviously, at the time. And he was like, oh, well, I have no hair and I'm all right. Like, I don't mind. It's just hair. And I'm like, what? Like, you're saying this to a child? Like, what?
That's wild.
This is what we're dealing with out here.
Yeah, the wild. Honestly, some things I heard from doctors, I'm like, wild. Why would you say that?
I know.
Like, surely knowing that coming out your mouth is... Yeah. And also, like, you're not experiencing the same thing. Having her loss is different to having alopecia. Because, like you said, the hardest part for you was, like, your lashes and your brows. Like, that's totally different.
Yeah.
Totally different.
It is, yeah.
That's a wild thing to say. Do you have anything else like that?
I'm trying to think of like again, I feel like these are really weird ones because normal people just wouldn't be that dumb, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But like when people ask to touch my head,
right, because they want to see what it feels like.
yeah, like it's no,
Yeah.
like, no, you can't touch my head.
Yeah.
Like I've had that quite a lot as well, which is weird. To be fair, I don't mind. Like I quite enjoy if people are curious, but they're asking in a respectful way.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, like because I am open about it.
Yeah.
And actually, another one is when people assume I've got cancer, and again, it's just a big misconception because they associate having no hair to cancer because of chemotherapy.
Yeah.
But that's probably the most common that most people experience.
Right. Okay. And what, like, would be like, oh, you're alright, like, sort of.
Yeah, like, or someone I know has had a comment where they've said, oh, how is that treatment going?
That didn't even know them.
No.
You just would never, would you?
No.
You just wouldn't even bring
Honestly, like, this is what I mean. Like, every time we went on holiday when I was young, that was the most common thing. Like, people would come up to my mum and dad and be like, oh,
Right.
I'm really sorry, like,
Yeah.
how long she had cancer, all this stuff, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah. That is wild. That is
Yeah.
wild. Obviously, we're just here to educate, not to say these things. But that's just wild.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes people don't necessarily think before they speak.
Yeah.
And obviously, you don't want people to feel like you're tiptoeing around anything that you have to say. But there is. I mean, I feel like they're quite, like you say, it's just like a normal thing not to say.
Yeah.
Like, going off that, if there's anything, is there anything that, like, as a friend of yours, or I should hope anyway, or any, just like friends in general, that we could do that could make you feel more comfortable? Like, especially if there's like an environment where you don't feel comfortable, is there anything that like people can do to make sure that you do feel more comfortable?
I don't know, like, I feel like a lot of the battle is myself, and like getting past my own, like, the own little devil in my head.
Yeah.
Because, like, for example, if we go to an event and if I feel like a bit self-conscious or I don't know many people there, automatically I'll just go in on myself. And I don't really think there's anything that anyone's doing wrong. Again, it's just a me thing.
Right.
But I suppose a lot of people feel that, like, I don't necessarily think it's... I think it's because I've got no hair that I've got that, like, that in us.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think I'd be a bit more outgoing.
Yeah.
Because when I have hair, I feel like it's just like a total alter ego.
Yeah, when you put a wig
kind
on.
Of thing. Yeah, like the sass just comes out.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know, like, I wouldn't necessarily say anyone's doing anything wrong at all. It's more like a me thing. And I think if I say something, maybe if I'm quiet, just be like, are you okay? Come with me.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Because you feel like you're going in on yourself.
Yeah.
And you feel like you're going in on yourself and it's making it worse.
Yeah.
Because you have alopecia. Okay, interesting. That's how we know to make Dani feel more comfortable.
Okay.
Finish on the last question. If someone else is going through alopecia, what's something that you would say to them?
I would say take things at your own pace. The things, obviously alopecia is becoming a bit more to the forefront of social media now.
A bit more of a conversation.
Yeah, and I would say don't get overwhelmed by that, like see the good in it, because a lot of people can see it as just like an overwhelming thing and think I need to be at that stage, and it's just not how it works. Like you have to go through the motions. Like I have bad days, like I come out of events crying sometimes, like just because of it, and I just think it's like just take each day as it comes, and it's just normal to like feel that emotion sometimes.
Yeah. I guess you've not got to where you've got to now without everything else that's happened behind the scenes that obviously you guys don't necessarily see. And obviously way before you even started doing this job, like you spoke when you went to uni and you struggled when you was 14, and people don't necessarily see that, but they see who you are now. Maybe use it as something that's a bit more inspiring as opposed to comparison.
Yes,
I
that's
guess.
it, yeah.
Do you have anything else you want to
add? Yeah, and I just think don't let it like limit you on anything, because if you put it into perspective and if you break it down to I'm not going out the house and I'm not going to have a good time with my friends because I've got no hair, just look at it like that. Like you should be going and living your life. Like hair should not stop you.
Don't let it hold you back.
Exactly that. So
yeah, positive vibes, positive words from Dani there. Well, thanks so much for coming and chatting to us about this. It's been very fun. This glam, I'm not sure if it's glamming. No, I think it's because I've not got eyelashes on.
I was literally just looking at you there and thinking, oh, your eyelashes are lovely.
Was you? See, we all have things in our heads, don't we? It just proves it.
Real.
But yeah, I think because I've done quite full glam.
Yeah.
I don't really do eyeshadow that much anymore either, but I did it for you today.
Oh.
Do you know what it is? I'm so lazy. I'm so lazy that like the thought of sitting down like for an hour and like doing my eyeshadow is just like too much. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on. If anyone has any questions or anything, then please pop them in like the caption, or anything that they want to add to this, then please pop it into the caption. And if there's any extra questions for Dani, then I can pop them over to her as well. Like I said before, I'll put a list down below of the products that we've both used. All of the links that will be on Dani's products will be from Dani's links as well, the Dani's affiliate links. So if you pop them, they'll be underneath at the bottom. For anyone who doesn't follow Dani, which I'm sure you all do, I'll link her socials and everything down below as well. That was so much fun. I hope you had fun as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Gorgeous.
It's been good. And I also just want to say, like, thank you for doing this.
Oh, she's died.
Oh no.
The lights died, but carry on.
I was just going to say thank you for doing this, because it's like, it's such a good thing, and I think we need to see more of it. So definitely make sure you subscribe, because there's so much more good that is coming as well. So
yeah. Thanks very much. Thanks very much. I just think it's so, like, important for us to all have conversations. I was saying this to Dani before, like, it's not about like digging anyone out. I just think that, like, there's so many things that we can do to be better, to be more aware of, like, what goes on around us and, like, the different things that different people go through. And I think it's really important for us to have uncomfortable conversations so that we can become more comfortable. And on that end, well, I do that. So thank you so much.
bye.
Goodbye. Okay, so that is the episode done. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Like I said, all of Dani's links and everything will be down below. And if anyone's got any questions or anything, please make sure you're following Dani. If you're not already, I'll leave a TikTok, Instagram, YouTube and everything down below. If you enjoyed this episode, we will be having a lot more coming. I have some more people booked in and I'm so excited for you guys to see some of my nearest and dearest. But yeah, I hope you guys all learned something from this. And thank you for taking your time to listen. Bye.